So I didn't really plan out how I wanted this to go. I kind of just wanted to start the video and see how I would feel about things. But obviously the world right now is in pretty much an uproar to the demise of George Floyd, the unfortunate and untimely demise of yet another unarmed black man in the United States of America. And I know we make this a lot about race, but I've really been thinking about this, and that's definitely a big part of it, but I think it's deeper than that. This is about greed. It's about power. It's about ignorance. And it's just pure evil, and it just makes me wonder if the reason why we haven't overcome this battle over all this time is because we've been fighting the wrong battle. I really think we might be fighting the wrong battle. We need to be holding people accountable, because it's an issue, and it's so deeply rooted in us. And I think it all starts with ignorance, because with ignorance comes division. That's the easiest way to get people to look at themselves as superior in a greater light. And that is not necessarily always a race thing. Sometimes it can be a height thing. Sometimes it could be a weight thing. It could literally be anything. And we're not fighting a race issue anymore. This is about ignorance. But it took me all day to get to the point where I could even sit and talk about this. Because this morning when I watched that video, I was not prepared to see what I saw. I wasn't. And, it broke my heart, because that could easily be my uncle. It could be my father. It could be my brother. It could be a significant other. It could be anybody. And just to think that people really don't care about life that bad, that much. I don't even know what somebody like that even thinks, and it's hard to think about it and not get emotional. I literally had to call my mother this morning to calm me down, because I was just so angry. But I was so hurt at the same time. I was so hurt. And, I know how he felt when he cried out to his mother. And thank God I had my mother to call and talk me down. But if people can feel the pain of this is something that Black people, or people of color, anybody that's experienced, any form of suffering and slavery, this is what we've been trying to show people. This is what we've been wanting people to see. It's that this is happening. And, it amazed me to see that this is not only affecting Black people, it's affecting everybody of every race and every color people. It's affecting humanity. And things are going to change because other people are taking it on. But can you imagine how it felt to be a slave and to have your family and friends ripped from your arms, removed from you, to be raped, to be beaten, to be tortured, and not be able to do anything? Like, that feeling is so traumatizing. It's so traumatizing. And, I was in my feelings about it all day. And of course, as a Christian, it's like, I want to pray, I want to talk to God, and But I just feel like I didn't have the right words to say. I didn't have the right words to say, and not only that, but what I was feeling is just, I was so overcome by my feelings. And it just causes you to have all these thoughts about what you want to do, or what you should do. What do you do? What do you do? And I think that's a question that everybody's asking, like, what do we do? What do we do when this happens? When we're out on the streets and somebody is being unjustly treated, what do we do in those situations? And I understand there's two sides to it, and I see both sides. So I do see the side where people are like, okay, well, people are recording and they're not doing anything, and not to like justify it, but just to give an explanation of, you have to think people in those situations, they aren't looking to deal with something like that. Like, that's not a regular, everyday, normal basis kind of thing. And, people aren't going to be as willing to put their life on the line because they have families at home. They have people to think about too, So, I can understand everybody not wanting to be a part of that. Even, back in the days when they were fighting for civil rights, everybody was not involved. There were a lot of people involved, but everybody was not involved for those same reasons. And not only that, just the fear of unjust retaliation, the fear of being beaten. And that can go so far. That can completely change your life. And then your life just being taken, for you just not to be here anymore. And, could you imagine for something like that to happen and then you no longer even be here and nothing even happen, like it not even go further? So those are tall orders for people to fill. To ask somebody to put their life on the line for someone that they see as a stranger is going to be hard for a lot of people to accept. And I feel the emotion behind it. I feel the anger, I feel the rage, I feel that violence, because I felt that this morning. And I saw somebody posted about, I felt like all of your ancestral lineage just wants to like come out of your skin and do something about this. And I think at this point, I feel like we have people that are ready to do something, but we're looking for leaders. I think we're all looking for leaders. We're all looking for that one person to say, okay, this is what we do. And I can honestly say, in my own family, in my community, which I'm not deeply connected to my community here, but I don't know of an older person or an elder that I can go to that would help me and that would be able to give me direction and guidance on what to do. And like I said, I feel like we have been fighting the wrong battle. So it's not even about racism anymore. It's about ignorance, and it's an attack. It's an attack, and me being Christian, I always have to be reminded that spiritual warfare is real. Spiritual warfare is real. And as Christians and as a believer, anybody that's a believer, like we have to pray. And not saying that that's a solution, but if you're truly a believer in Jesus Christ, that's the next thing that we need to be doing. We need to be going to God and seeking his guidance, because that's what he wants us to do. He wants us to include him and involve him in everything that we do. So we need to go to him. And this is the perfect time to go to him, because a lot of our hearts are open. A lot of our hearts are ready. A lot of our minds are ready and open to receive some new information. People are scrambling to figure out what's the next step. And I think that's where a lot of us are getting tied up, is just figuring out what that next step is. But for anybody that, has an idea of what to do or wants to work together to do something, I mean, I'm a single person in this life, meaning that like I don't have a spouse, I don't have any children. And, I feel like I'm ready to die for this. I mean, it just means so much. It just means so much. It just means so much. But knowledge first. We have to get knowledge. We have to seek knowledge. You know, being a Black person, like, your emotions, and that's how they used us back in the day. They would do things spitefully in front of us because they know that it would evoke an emotion, but we couldn't do anything about it. And now we can do something about it, but emotion is not going to be the way to get that done. We have to be strategic about what we do. We have to be calculated. We have to plan, and we have to plot, and we have to be united. We have to be together. We have to be in unison, and literally everything that is dividing us, we got to let it go. This is the time where we all have to agree to disagree on everything else, and all we have to agree on is that this is a human problem that needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed because it's 2020, and you know, my ancestors did not die for no reason. They did not die for me to come this far. They did not die for me to have all of the rights and privileges that I have now. They did not die for this. They did not die in vain. I will not allow their legacies to be in vain. I won't. So I'm willing to go to war, whatever that means. Whatever that means, because I know who's on my side. I know who's on my side. But it is going to take for us to come together and work together. And when is that going to happen? When is that going to take place? Where is that going to take place? You know, you want to do these things, but you just have all these questions, and we got to figure it out. This is an American problem. It's a worldwide problem, honestly. It's a worldwide problem. It's a global problem. It's a global epidemic. It's a global epidemic, and we got to get it right. We got to get it right. Our ancestors fought too hard, you know, and not even just ancestors of Black people, but even white people. They fought alongside us. A lot of times they were the ones that they helped us get out of slavery. You know, they helped us with resources, and they stood up, and they were our voice. And we have to work together. We have to be that voice. We have to stand together. So let's do it. I hope y'all ready. I hope you're ready to go to war. I mean, I've been praying, and the word of God is my sword and my shield. So I'm ready to go to war. So let's do this. I'm tired of seeing my people dying. I'm tired of it. Tired of it.